And now I want to talk about Jaden Ivey for our Welcome to the League segment, because he's a player who, I know we've been talking about Ben, Paulo, but he's a player who's also been having a solid outing, but we just haven't really talked about him much. He's averaged over 18 points his last 3 games. And yesterday, when Cade Cunningham was out, he kind of took the lead and had 26 points in a tough loss without the presence of Cade. But I think he showed some of his upside this week, and he's a player going forward who I still think we need to watch closely.
Yeah, he's split time a little bit at the 1 and the 2, but I really think that Jaden Ivey has that big-time future in Detroit as, the shooting guard going forward in a dynamic backcourt for the Pistons. But all season he's been averaging over 15 points a game thus far, which is really good for a rookie, especially a guard who's adjusting to the league's speed and kind of role as a ball handler, especially in the Eastern Conference where there's so many good guard matchups. But this last 3-game stretch has really showed why Jaden Ivey was considered for that number 4 pick before getting replaced by Keegan Murray on draft night. And man, it's just scary to see all these Eastern Conference teams with young guards who can carry the league going forward.
And you look at some of the players like Jaden who have been in this draft, when they start to get to that midseason peak or that midseason hump, that's when they really start to hit their stride, and that's when it really starts to get scary. Like, I look at guys like Jalen Green last year, even a little bit of Cade Cunningham, who's his teammate. Like, when they got to the latter half of that season, that's when they really started to do damage in the league and become a force. And this Pistons team, I know we were talking about them at the beginning of the year as being a team that could potentially make the play-in, and I'm still hoping that they reach that point. And I feel like it all really just relies on how him and Cade start to kind of mesh together.
I'd also like to quickly bring up the fact that the Pistons kind of aren't doing too well right now. And with an already super young team, to even have the chance to get a top 5 pick in this class as well, that roster has probably an insane future ahead, wouldn't you think?
Yeah. I think... Wait, let me pull up Tankathon real quick.
They're at 4.
Yeah, they're at 4 right now, but... I mean, obviously with lottery, they can get anywhere from like
they can
7
drop to 8,
number 1. So
yeah,
I think
Victor on the Pistons.
Victor too. Yeah, that would be scary. But if they also, I know we haven't seen a lot of them because they've been hurt, but there are also a lot of good complementary pieces that I think could also make their roster kind of dangerous. Now there's some guards in here, but if they got like Dariq Whitehead, who I think is going to be nasty, Dylan Mitchell, who's a defensive guy, and Cam Whitmore, who we haven't seen at all, but I'm really excited to see how he does at Villanova.
I would honestly like to see Derek Lively play alongside Beef Stew in Detroit because he can space the floor really well and play defense. So that front court with Beef Stew and Derek Lively with just the shot blocking ability and just the physicality that Beef Stew brings, plus offensively that fit is great. That would be really fun to watch. And I think even if they fall to maybe 5 or 6 in the lottery, they could definitely get a guy like Derek Lively at this point.
If they had Derek Lively, Jalen Duren, and Isaiah Stewart, that would be like a really good front court because you could maybe potentially have maybe Lively at the 4 because he's shown that he could be a guy who spaces the floor out a bit.
And I didn't even think about that. I forgot that Jalen Duren was even on that team. You could have Duren and Isaiah Stewart both playing minutes where you have a physical, strong guy up front like that for a full 48 minutes because one of them will come off the bench. That is very scary.